Hi, everybody. It's Christy Birchville here. Today we are going through Galatians. Now, we've been in chapter 4 and we started it yesterday. So if you've missed that, you can always check out any of the past episodes. There's a link in the description below that will take you to that playlist. Today, we are looking at Galatians chapter 4, kind of focusing on those verses 4 through 10, but really honing in on verse 9. And verse 9 says, Paul speaking here, he says, but now that you know God, or rather are known by God, how is it that you are turning back to those weak and miserable forces? Do you wish to be enslaved by them all over again? He is reminding the people that they, at one point, had believed in the law and had believed in all these ritualistic traditions that were a way to try to that they thought was a way to try to bring themselves to God. And what he's been explaining in these past verses and even past chapters is that the law doesn't get there. The law doesn't help you really understand God or get to closer to God. The law is there to point out all the ways you fall short. So if we've accepted Christ and Christ has provided freedom from all of those things, why in the world are you going back to these things that were enslaving you, to these things that were keeping you boxed in this little way of saying, oh, you have to live this way, and if you don't live this way, then shame on you. If we've been freed from all of that, why would you choose to stay in the cage? We are the same way. God has freed us. If we have asked Christ into our hearts, he has become that right relationship with God. He's provided that. That's his promise. We are now children of God. If we have done those things, why would we choose to go back to being enslaved by well, I've got to keep doing this thing, and I've got to keep checking all these boxes off, and I've got to make sure I read my Bible and I go to church and I don't say curse words and I got to make sure I do all of these things to be right with God. If we've accepted Christ, we are right with God. The goal now is to live each day in obedience to him just because we love him, just because we want to, because we find no greater enjoyment or purpose than in doing what Christ has for us to do. It's so exciting to be at that place. And Paul is saying, if you're there, why would you ever go back to being a prisoner? Why would you ever want to? Why would you choose to stay in that cage? So the question for you today, and the question for me, are you living like the free person you are? Or are you still acting like you're enslaved to all of those rituals and traditions and rules? God came and provided Christ to give us freedom to love him. Are we doing that? Or are we enslaved by the things that we're keeping over enslaved to all those rituals and all those traditions? Christ has set us free. So be free, act free, live free, and glorify God with every fiber of your being. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Galatians chapter 4.